The Handbook to Higher Consciousness, Chapter 1. Why this book was written for us. Most of us, said the cosmic humorist, go through life not knowing what we want, but feeling damned sure that this is not it. Over 99% of the people in the Western world live on lower consciousness levels, characterized by trying to find enough security, sex, groovy sensations, ego rushes, prestige, money, power, and status. This endless struggle yields life of constant resentment, worry, suspicion, anger, jealousy, shyness, and fear. Everything people tell themselves they must do to be happy ends up yielding more frustration than joy. The more successful a person is in making money, collecting skills and possessions, developing exciting sexual relationships, acquiring knowledge and degrees, and achieving positions of status, power, and prestige, the less loving, peaceful, and contented he may find himself or herself. And yet it is not these things in and of themselves that create an unhappy life. It is the internal mental addiction or desire for them that minute by minute keeps one from enjoying life. Addictions or emotion backed demands bring fear of non fulfillment, jealousy that someone may steal our source of fulfillment, anger when someone thwarts us, cynicism if constantly undersupplied, paranoia if constantly threatened, boredom if we're making no progress towards satisfying our addictions, worry if we can't see a steady supply, anxiety if we're worried about being worried, and unhappiness when the outside world does not supply us with whatever it is we are addicted to. Now, that's the first time it brings up this point. The addictions are these demands that we have from emotions that we want things a certain way. As this as I've been reading this text so far, what I've found is very quickly you see, oh, the mind is doing that. That is stupid. I don't want my mind to do that. I don't want my mind to do that. I'm going to stop doing that. And it's really easy to do when I mean, I have a model where people always get what they want. You always do what you want. You always get what you want. You don't do things that you don't want. And when you see these emotion backed demands and you see what they're causing you, you're going to pretty much instantly say, okay, well, I'm going to stop doing that because that's not what I want to do. Since the nature of life is such that we win some and lose some, an addicted person has no chance of living a happy, loving, peaceful, conscious, wise, and effective life. And the addictive programming is not necessary to find and enjoy that which we prefer in life. You are ready for the growth into the happiness of higher consciousness when you realize the utter futility of trying to live a beautiful life by your efforts to rearrange or change the world of people and things outside of you to fit your addictions and desires. You will find you have only to rearrange your own personal, automatically programmed responses to life situations, most of which are childhood hangups. As you work toward levels of higher consciousness, you will find that you have always had enough to be happy. It is the patterns in your head that make you unhappy. Although it is usually although you usually blame the people and conditions outside you for your unhappiness. In my case, I blame myself as almost an externalized person, or I've internalized blame. Your journey into higher consciousness can enable you to be loving, peaceful, wise, and free of a constant barrage of unpleasant emotional feelings. LL offers you 4 advantages in your adventure into higher consciousness. 1. For many people, it can be one of the most powerful and rapid ways for growth into higher consciousness that has ever been available to mankind. I definitely agree with that statement. 2. It does not require you to detach yourself from your present life. Living LL can be used most effectively if you stay with your current business, personal life, and other conditions until you have grown to a high enough state of consciousness to be fully perceptive of the arbitrary mores, folkways, and social rules you are guarding and living out. In other words, until the point that you realize that you don't actually want to live the way that you're living anymore. 3. Once you thoroughly understand the system, it is not essential to have a teacher for continuing your growth. Your life will be your best teacher, for you will discover that you are always putting yourself into learning situations that are ideal for your growth. The programming that you most need to change has an unerring way of putting you into life situations that can make you aware of the exact inner work you should be doing. And I really like how deep this text gets. Not deep, but how it lists some very nice insights into present life situations and how they work and what's going on there in a very simple way. When you use the LL way to find the love, inner peace, wisdom, and effectiveness of higher consciousness, your inner work on yourself immediately adds to your enjoyment of life. With the LL way, happiness is not a distant goal. It is an ever growing part of your here and now. Think of the energy you now put into the up and down, hour by hour, coping with your feelings while you continually try to rearrange the people and situations in your life so that you can be then loving, serene, effective, and happy. And yet, year by year, your quest for happiness is as elusive as finding the pot of gold at the end of the rainbow. Since everyone around you seems to be having similar trouble in becoming a happy, loving being, you may have lowered your standards and decided that continuous happiness is probably not realistic. The LL way invites you to set the highest imaginable standards of love, serenity, peace, wisdom, effectiveness, and continuous happiness for your life. And then you are ready to begin your journey into higher consciousness. End of chapter 1.